Well, hello, everyone. I'm Patty McMullen. I'm the career specialist at Emerald Ridge High School, and I'm here today with Richard Mitchell. He's the career specialist at Rogers, and Shelly Jellison, who's the career specialist at Puyallup High School. So as we move through our sessions, you're going to see the three of us pop on to introduce our guests and move on to the next segment. And as career specialists, we are just so excited to have been given this opportunity to put on this career event for you. And like Mr. Claymore said, it is about team. And that's what we're here for. We want a team with you. We can't wait. If you're not at the high school yet, we can't wait for you to get there. If you're at the high school, you need to reach out to us because that's the work that the three of us do. So we're just super happy to have you with us today. So we're going to get going now into the pathway presentations. We have 5 presenters for you today, 1 for each pathway. We're going to begin with our business and marketing pathway by hearing from Paula Cole with the Emerald Queen Casino and Hotel. So Paula, are you ready to share your screen? Okay, and you are muted. There you go.
You're muted.
Oh, you got muted again, Paula. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay. Hasla Hill, Estroy El Chad, Alti de Slops de Bootseed, Polacode Seedsta, Spoyala Babs Chud, Bill Sterud, Seedsta Atid Bod, Spoyala Babs Tid Bod, Marjorie Matheson Sterud, Atid Kaya to Altis Young Siaya. My name is Paula Cole. I am a Puyallup tribal member. My dad is Bill Sterud. My grandmother is Marjorie Matheson Sterud. My great-grandmother is Maddie Matheson. I was born and raised in Fife, Washington, growing up on one of the last unceded areas of Puyallup territory, formerly known as Youngville. I want to say good day to you all. What a pleasure it is to be here. I want to say thank you to all of you that put this event together, and most importantly, thank you to all of our youth and our families that are attending here today. Today, I'm going to bring you through a brief history of the Emerald Queen, a little bit about myself, and most importantly, the wonderful employment opportunities we have here at the Emerald Queen. So, growing up, I was fortunate to have a front seat to the rising of the powerhouse the Puyallup tribe is known to be today. With that said, it's not lost on me the sacrifices of our people past and present that they have made to get us where we are. I was 8 years young when the Port of Tacoma and the Puyallup tribe reached a $162 million settlement known as the Puyallup Land Claim Settlement of 1990. This settlement delivered economic development, employment, health services, school services, and an opportunity for the tribe to take the steps to become in charge of their own destiny. It became one of the largest 20th century Indian land claim settlements, second to Alaska Native Claim Settlement Act of 1971. It was shortly thereafter that the Puyallup tribe started their gaming industry. Okay, so I'm gonna share a PowerPoint and I'm sorry. Here we go. Okay. So in 1992, the tribe opened their first 36,000 square foot bingo hall located just off of Interstate 5 in Tacoma. In 1996, the tribe opened the Emerald Queen Casino. The original Emerald Queen was located on a paddle wheel riverboat. The buzz in our house and throughout the community of the arrival of Miss Emerald Queen was so big that one of my little sister's first words was Mississippi Riverboat. In 2001, the I-5 location opened and was located at the old Puyallup Tribal Bingo Hall. That location included the casino, a restaurant, a nightclub, and an entertainment venue. A majority of the casino was located in a large tent structure that had opened in 2004. In that same year, 2004, the tribe adapted a Best Western Hotel. After renovating that, the casino attached to that hotel was opened in 2005. In 2007, the tribe undertook another expansion, building 2 parking garages, one of those you can see here, a pool, a spa, administrative towers, and another larger gaming area. And then that brings us to today. In June of 2020, the tribe opened its newest facility in Tacoma. This casino has 5 restaurants, a coffee shop called the Paddle Wheel Cafe, a beautiful event center, and I just want to point out that another beautiful area in the event center, this is the reception area if you're going into the to the events. And throughout the hotel and the casino, we have historical photos as well. And this is a picture of Slahal, which is bone games, and that is a gambling tradition that goes back to Native tribes since time immemorial. And then here today we have the new hotel, and this beauty is set to open sometime this year. It houses 155 rooms. It has 5 suites, 1 3-bay suite, a pool, and an exercise facility. A 2,400 square foot conference center, has museum-like artwork. We have some wonderful artists throughout our tribal communities, and it's really an honor to be able to have their work displayed throughout. Including in the hotel, we have a coffee shop on lobby level and a restaurant located on the 11th floor. And the restaurant really has the best views of Tacoma. It's really something to see. And this is a picture of just your standard, this is our standard king room. It's kind of blurry. It doesn't really do the rooms a lot of justice, but we get the gist of it. So a little bit about myself and my journey. I started my career at the Emerald Queen in 2006. I started out in human resources as a communications manager, where I took a pivotal role in the hiring of people, job application screenings, all of that. And it was really neat to see just, you know, getting people in the casino involved in the need of the community, because everybody wants to work, you know, and it's important that we work closely with other tribal entities to get, you know, our tribal members in and working. In 2008, I moved over to the hotel as the guest service liaison. In this position, I was able to work closely with the hotel guests. I worked with their complaints, their wants, their needs, making sure that their experience at the Emerald Queen Hotel was a positive one. It was there that I learned the many aspects of the hotel and realized that that was kind of something that I wanted to be involved in for a while. In 2012, I became the assistant hotel director. This was exciting because I got to be more on the operations side of things, as well as still be involved with the guest service. So the great thing about the hotel industry is that there is a whole world behind that hotel front desk. You work closely with other departments, and really one thing that's really cool is you work closely with members of the community. In 2018, the Puyallup tribe hosted canoe journeys called Power Paddle to Puyallup, and it was a privilege to house canoe families from all over coming together to celebrate. You know, should the hotel industry be something that you're interested in, there is online schooling that you can take, and you can most definitely start as early as in high school. So this is something that's pretty cool. This is the American Hotel Lodging Educational Institute, and this really is kind of your home base for everything that you want to learn hotel-wise. You can go right here, and it says really everything.
Paula, I don't think it's showing.
Oh, no, it's not?
No.
Oh, great. Let's see. A new share. How about now? Is it showing?
Yeah, so it says COVID-19 precautions. Is that?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, sorry about that, guys. So right here, like I was saying, if you go under individuals, you can see all of the topics that are included in the hospitality industry: financial management, food and beverage, front office, your general management, guest service, housekeeping, the human resources side of it, risk management, sales and marketing. You can get certified through this website as well. If you go under academic, you will see that there is high school opportunities under there for you, so you can go ahead and get a head start. There's hospitality and tourism management, training and certification. You can become a certified instructor. And then over here, you have your college and university. So within the hotel, there's many aspects and opportunities for employment. You have the hotel front desk agents, housekeepers, housekeeping managers. You work super close with other departments. You work with facilities, security, surveillance. And another cool thing about the hotel is that you kind of stay involved in community events. So you want to keep up with the events at the Tacoma Dome, see who's coming, how many rooms we have available, what our rooms are going to cost. There's a lot of events throughout the area, car shows. We have the Puyallup Fair every year that hosts concerts. So it's really also a fun way just to kind of stay involved and see all the fun things that are happening throughout. So aside from the hotel department, there are also many other opportunities available at the Emerald Queen. I'm going to try and go to the website. Okay. Am I on the casino website? Do you guys see that?
Yes.
Okay. So right here, this is just the Emerald Queen Casino website, obviously. So the Emerald Queen has remained the state's 5th biggest employer. We have 18 departments throughout the casino, employing over 2,300 employees. If you go to the website right here and you go to our casinos, go down to careers, career opportunities, you can get a glimpse of just what is waiting for you guys. So I always like to go under job category. It kind of like consolidates things a little bit. Human resources, executive, that's your front desk managers and housekeepers, security positions, food and beverage positions, and then under here, you know, facilities, cage, table games, IT, which is like the computer side of things, I guess you could say, tribal lottery, guest services, finance, surveillance. So there's really something here for everybody. And, you know, we want Native American employees. You know, everybody deserves to have a nice job, and we offer really those nice jobs. So along with these jobs always come, you know, the benefits. And this happens every time. Sorry, I was worried that was going to happen. But you know, like it says here, Emerald Queen Casino and Hotel offers one of the most diverse workforces in our industry. We understand that a happy team makes for a healthy work environment. We strive to ensure our team members' needs are all met and are met at all levels to maintain a happy and healthy workforce. We thrive on providing a unique and memorable gaming experience. So at EQC, superior guest service is always a priority. And in order to achieve superior guest services, you got to have happy employees. So for benefits, you guys are probably thinking I'm in high school, I don't need to be thinking about my retirement, but I can assure you that unfortunately life happens really fast. And the earlier you start setting yourself up for your future, the better off you're really going to be. And the benefits at the Emerald Queen are not limited to medical. So I'm going to go into that really quick here. So just to give you guys an idea, as a full-time employee, you're going to receive your 100% paid medical, dental, and vision. And that is super important because all of those things are really, really expensive. You're going to receive a $10,000 life insurance policy, 401k, and your 401k is your retirement. And what's nice about the 401k is that you can just have it deducted straight out of your paycheck. You don't even know it's going anywhere, but you know that it's there. You don't even have to worry about it, but it's really nice to have. You have your 18 paid flex days per year. You have your employee assistance program, which is your EAP, and that is more or less your mental health support. Mental health is absolutely a priority, and it's something that, is really coming to the forefront these days, as it should. Supplemental insurance option through voluntary payroll deduction. And then we also have options for our part-time employees, and as well as our extra board and on-call. So should you choose to not come on full-time, if you're still in school, you can absolutely come on as a part-time or extra board or on-call. In addition to those benefits, the casinos, both locations have an employee dining room, which everybody calls it the EDR. And it's really not just your typical employee dining room. We have, some days we have prime ribs, some days we have fried rice. There's all these things. There's a soft serve machine, which is really the best thing in the world. So we have free parking. If you don't want to go to the EDR, you get a 20% employee discount at all the casino restaurants. And we also have a really awesome employee recognition program. So the employee recognition program was kind of came to fruition out of HR. And what they do is they really just keep the employees involved. And, for instance, for Halloween, we have a thing here called Halloween. And we have pumpkin carving contests in the break room. You can submit your Halloween pictures and they'll be submitted in the newsletter. For Thanksgiving, all employees receive a turkey. For Christmas, we have Santa pictures, and everybody can come and get your picture taken with Santa, which is pretty fun. We do giveaways in the spring and summer. We have Rainier tickets, Mariners tickets. Pre-COVID, for like the yearly employee party, they rented out Enchanted Village and Wild Waves, and you could bring your family and pretty much go have the best day ever, all to yourself. So
that's so awesome, Paula. And I need to ask you real quick before we move on to the next presenter. So someone's asking, how many years of school would you have to do to have a job with Emerald Queen?
So you need to graduate. So that's what you got to do. You want to graduate, and if you can continue your education in college, that's most important. I know that it can be overwhelming. You're in school, and then all of a sudden these job fairs pop up, and you're supposed to know what you're going to do with your life. I just want to assure all the kids and stuff that all of your experiences that you have, kind of set you up for where you're going to be. And I think that that's important to note, is that, there's a whole world out there, and we all deserve to have a really good life. And, I know that it can be scary and stuff, but, you stay on the right path and you stay in school and you learn as much as you can, and, listen to your elders and take your teachings with you every step of the way, So
it's kind of like what John Claymore was saying, that we're all a team. We're all here to support the students, like what you're saying.
Yes, absolutely. It's all here for you guys, You gotta want to come and get it, and we will most certainly help you guys along the way. So
yeah, that's awesome, Paula. It's amazing how many different departments the Emerald Queen covers within hospitality. And I love the way you pulled in that you're also connected closely with the community. That was just an amazing presentation, sharing all of that. It's huge. I didn't know myself that they were such a big, I knew they were a big employer, but the fifth in Washington State, that is something.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yes,
So,
it is. Wonderful. All right. Thank you, Paula. I really appreciate
you
your
very
time
much.
today. Yes, that was wonderful. All right. So for the next presenter, you guys, we have, we're going to cover our health science pathway, and we have Marley Henry. So Paula, if I could have you unshare your screen.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
And then Marley, is she still with us?
Oh, yep, I'm right here.
Oh, there she is. All right, perfect. All right, Marley, thank you for being with us today. Go right ahead.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for allowing me to be here and, share with you guys a little bit about the organization I work for. So my name is Marley Henry. I work for the Puyallup Tribal Health Authority, which is also another entity of the Puyallup Tribe. We're a lot smaller of an employer. We have about 250 employees with us. I am also a Puyallup tribal member. I grew up on the Tulalip Reservation and also down here in the Puyallup Reservation as well. I have family in both. So I kind of went back and forth. And so I graduated from Fife High School. So I'm familiar with the area and all the schools. Yeah, and so what I do, I am the patient experience director here in the administration department for the Puyallup Tribal Health Authority. My job is to look at our current processes and see what we can do better, how we can be more patient centric, how we can better our processes for all of our patients, and see, kind of see where we're at in that process. Kind of like our patient perspective. So this would be a lot about like patient satisfaction. How are we doing in pharmacy, x-ray, dental, medical, and all of those realms of healthcare? We kind of like to look at a holistic approach to care for our tribal members and our tribal patients. We do serve Native Americans that are enrolled in a federally recognized tribe in Pierce, Thurston, and King County. And we also serve all Puyallup tribal members, no matter the location. So I'm just kind of going down the list of the pathway presentation. So what I love about my job, I love that I am serving my community. I was brought up in a really tight-knit family. And the expectation was that if we get educated or whatever we find our realm in, is that we bring that education back to our tribal community. And so I always knew that I wanted to work for a tribal organization. I didn't know where I was going to land. My story was a little rocky at the beginning. So I had never expected that I would be working in administration for healthcare. I didn't see myself in healthcare, but I landed there and I've loved it ever since. So, helping to make a difference right now in Indian country as far as healthcare goes. Our history in healthcare hasn't been the strongest. And while I was in school, it's been one of my passions to look at how we can bring more accessibility to Indian country in the healthcare realm. The organization I work for is very generous and family oriented. I don't know if I said that, but we're very much a family. Everybody that I work with, if I don't it's during the pandemic has been the hardest situation to live. I'm here at my home and I'm not on site. I'm not considered a frontline worker because I work in administration and I do have the ability to work from home, but I've missed all the faces and all of the interactions and, seeing our patients and our elders and our young ones. Like, it's been a big impact having to work through this. So I've been with the organization for 10 years next month. And I didn't start out, in administration in a director level position. I actually came into the position with an associate's degree and in marketing. and I came in at a low level job. And then it became apparent, like I wanted to learn more. I wanted to grow as a person. And so I did end up going back to school online because I have children. And I went to school online with Arizona State University, which has a really good online program. I love it. It works with my job schedule. I can access it at any and all times to get my bachelor's degree. And I had a couple kids at the same time as completing my degree. So I think one of my biggest things is do it before you have kids, because it's so much harder to juggle when you have babies at home. So that would have been my thing. But at the same time, I do feel like I am 33 years old and being a bit older, I feel like I have a passion for learning. Like I see all of your guys' dreams over here in the chat, and I'm just like, yes, do it all. Like I want to go back for my Juris Doctorate degree just because I want to keep learning. I want to keep growing myself. And it doesn't have anything to do with where I'm at in my job. I just kind of like love to explore and have these realms that I'm interested in. So a little bit on the pluses and minuses of the job. Being in the pandemic, I think we're in a very sensitive and high pressure situation, and that goes from the top down in the organization. It goes to our frontline employees who have been there every single day, supporting our community and being there for our elders, and our docs who have been reaching out to our elders, through telehealth. And we've been it's a struggle, but I want to say that the way we've come together to help each other out has been amazing. We're there for each one of our employees. We have provided lunches to our employees for like the first 6 months of the pandemic. I think we did support our employees in any way possible. We did staggered scheduling, where there's a team A, team B system, so nurses aren't exposed to the same germs as each going day to day. It's been a struggle through the pandemic, but we're working towards bettering our processes and just creating new ones as everything's coming, new policies. I found that one of the pluses of my job are projects. And I, as a kid in high school, I don't think I would have ever thought, a project at work would be fun. But I get to work on a lot of different committees, and I'm in charge of our weight loss management program. I'm actually working on a rollout right now for patient satisfaction and using tablets and QR codes. I am I supervise a few different departments, and communications is one of them. And we're actually growing our communications more because of COVID. We want to be able to reach our patients at a maximum level. So we're growing our communications department super fast and rolling out different medias and text messages and looking at applications that we can apply. I used to be in charge of the events for healthcare, and you're like, wow, there's events for healthcare. What kind of events are those? They must be boring. Actually, we do have a pediatrics day annually before COVID. That was so much fun. You got to see all of the babies ages 0 to like 18 years old, and we'd have a fun day just showering you with information, but also loving up on you. And that was a time to really like get in with the community. We had Elders Days quarterly that served the Puyallup tribal member elders, and seeing their faces all like every quarter, you're like, hi, how are you? That's our time to catch up with our elders. And it was really kind of more of a social interaction in the lobby than it was a health fair per se. So those are some of the fun things. There are downsides to working in healthcare. So we deal with a lot of death and illnesses that you wouldn't expect would impact you in administration. But seeing our elders quarterly, some of them, don't come back. And then what I love about our organization is that we bring our culture into what we do. So we live collectively as a tribe. We work to support each other as best as we can. And I think John touched on that, is that, like we find our place in the tribe. and we work through that. And I think one of the things I do envy about where I work is that when things like this have an impact on our staff, like a doctor was there, late at night with a family, and I've actually been on the receiving end where I was that family. But it impacts the doctors too. They have their relationships with patients, and that goes deeper than just saying, hey, here's your vitals, here's your stats, here's this. It goes beyond that. It's like we have a family. And so some of those things we bring a lot of prayer. We have prayer circles before every Elders Day to give our elders strength. We have prayers before any work is done. And we like to do it, and we like to do the work in a good way. And we like to have the blessings of our elders when we complete this work. So to go over, sorry to get heavy, but to go over some of the possible jobs that you could have at the healthcare facility would be, in medical, you could be a doctor. We don't have a lot of Native American doctors. And I think we have a residency program for people who are expecting to become doctors. So they're done with medical school, they do a few years of residency, and then they get to do their own practice. So I think we have a couple Native American doctors who are in our residency program currently. We do have nurses, medical assistants. You can work in lab as a phlebotomist, x-ray, pediatrics, dental. We have the dentist, dental assistants, dental hygienist, denture work, orthodontics, like mental health, addictions counseling, residency program. If you want to become a doctor, come see us, customer service. We have our front desk workers, our benefits coordinators, people to help you out in reaching all of those realms of healthcare. We have security and safety, facilities and housekeeping, supply chain. There are people who fill all of our rooms with the supplies needed. We have the administration department, which I am a part of, human resources, information technology, health records, community health, which is kind of like a nursing outreach for weight management, pain management, personal training, smoking cessation, and then again, customer service. So from there, my path to this position, like I said, I kind of had a rocky start. I wasn't one of those people who graduated expecting to be great at being a student. My perception of myself in graduation wasn't that I was a great student. I think I graduated with a 1.9 GPA from high school. And I will say that did make it challenging to build on my educational background, So I did complete my AA from the Art Institute of Seattle. And then it wasn't until then that I knew that I was a great student. Like as long as I'm doing the work and I'm passionate about what I do, it's not work. And so it became like, oh, I need to find something that I want to do. And that's when I looked towards my mentors. I looked at my mom, she has a Juris Doctorate degree, and I'm like, what do I do? Like once you're ready to take that next step, I feel like creating that support system for yourself is the best thing. Even when I was going through school, I started with my AA, got my bachelor's, and then I went to nursing school to get my master's in healthcare innovation. I still had to have a support system. I still had to have, my husband and my kids and my mentors at work. And I had to juggle all of these different plates. Well, it takes a lot. I called in on my mother-in-law, who we didn't have a strong relationship before this happened, but now, I'm so grateful to her. Sometimes you have to read textbooks on top of textbooks, and it's so good to have that village surrounding you and loving on you and making sure that you're taking care of yourself and feeding you and, taking the kids for a walk so that you can write a paper. And hopefully the kids isn't part of that when you go to college, because it's so much easier when you don't have kids. but that was just my story. And so I think tips for graduating seniors is just, enjoy this process. I didn't enjoy it. I was 100% about sports and worried about where I'm going to go to play volleyball, and not worried about where I am today. I couldn't just sit in today. And I think sitting in today is the best thing possible. And, for me, if I could look back and talk to myself, I'd say, you know what, don't beat yourself up. Your experiences don't make you who you are. I was able to move past my thinking of, I'm not a good student. I'm never going to be a good student. Like, this is just not for me. I'm not going to be successful. And all of that downplay really does something to you mentally. And so I think just letting it go and just saying like, hey, we can only do what we can for today. So I think taking things one day at a time, and just, hoping that, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Sometimes I get lost in tangents. So I know that I got lost in the anticipation of newfound freedom. As a senior, I was so excited to get away from rules and curfew and live on my own. And I just want to say, like, don't make the process too fast. Like, don't rush the process. Like, we all have to grow up. We all get jobs. Like, we all have become part of the little anthill. And I just say, like, enjoy what you can while you can. I
No,
think
Marley, that is fabulous though. I mean, I love the way you pulled, here's everything you can do, in health sciences, not just the medical aspect, but also the administrative aspect, but then your story. We're not perfect, right? We all make mistakes. We think later, oh my gosh, I should have done this. And, I was never a good student. And, you want that freedom like you talked about, but, you're a success story. So I truly appreciate you sharing that with the students. I think that's huge.
Yeah, thank you. I
Yeah.
have a fourth grader right now who was going through similar thoughts. And so I was like, how would I speak to him? This is like when I was completing all of this, my notes, I was like, how would I talk to him? Just
Right.
encouraging him and telling him, you know what, like, it's okay to feel a little crunchy sometimes, but
Mhm.
it's just a feeling and it will pass. And then let's move forward.
And then, like you said, just like Paula said and John said, it's all about team. You talked about, just you've got this huge support system, and tap into it, which is just a beautiful thing. I just can tell that's kind of a theme amongst you guys. So that's amazing. There's so much there to support everyone.
Yes.
Wonderful. Marley, thank you. That was
Yeah.
perfect. And I want to see, I think I saw something come up in the chat. Let me take a peek. You're getting a huge thank you for sharing your story. So that was impactful. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes. All right. So next, we're going to move on to our human services pathway. And we have Angela French with us today. Angela, are you ready?
I am. Thank you so much, Patty.
Yes.
All right. So am I good? You can see me? Yes. Do I need to share screen? Great. Okay. So thank you so much, like I said, and thank you for inviting me here. My name is Angela French, and I am a native of Quilcene, Washington, one of the tiniest towns you've never heard of in Washington State. So I'm really excited to be here because I enjoy reaching out to folks back home. I am with the U.S. Department of State in Washington, D.C. So when I say I'm from Washington, most people think I'm from Washington, D.C. So I always have to correct and say, nope, the state, there's actually a state. So the reason that I was so excited to reach out is that U.S. Department of State, we really find our success in diversity. Well, guess what? I don't know a Native individual that works at the entire U.S. Department of State. So I am really focused on trying to reach out to the communities back home that I grew up with, and tell you what a great organization it is. So I'm in a certain bureau with the U.S. Department of State, and it's called Diplomatic Security Service. And we are the law enforcement and security arm of the department. And what that means is that we protect diplomats, we protect embassies and consulates overseas. So I saw some of you were very interested. You wanted to move to Japan and teach English, or you want to go to Korea or somewhere. Well, guess what? I'm going to Japan this summer because I get to help at the Olympics for my job. The Department of State is sending me to the Olympics. I mean, how cool is that, right? So those are some of the things that we do. And I'm going to go through that in a little bit, but I just want to throw out there, because I am cognizant of time, that I'm going to leave my information up, my contact information up after I'm done, so that you can contact me, text me, email me. You'll find me on social media. I will answer any and every question because I'm excited about my job and I want to get you excited as well. So I'm going to attempt to share my screen. I have IT folks that help me with this. That is not my career path, if you can't tell. All right, let's see here. Am I sharing the screen?
Not yet.
Okay, let's go back. 1 minute, so sorry. Okay, let me try share screen again. Okay, share.
Oh, I think
Yes.
something going. Yep, there you go.
All right, great. Oh, and I cannot see how to, there we go. See if I can get this bigger for you guys. Okay, here I am, Diplomatic Security Service. There's our handler. If you guys are into social media, guess what? I have 2 colleagues that do social media full-time for their job. So you like social media, you like to put together posts, take photos. I know somebody said they wanted to be a graphic designer or animator. I have those on my staff too, all right? So here's a nice little array of some of the individuals working for us. So diplomatic security, I told you a little bit about what we do. I wanted to list some of the personnel that's specifically within DSS, all right? So we do have special agents just like FBI and DHS, okay? They carry a badge and a gun. They can arrest individuals. They, go to court. You can see some of the others. I won't go through the list. I am what you call a civil servant, all right? So civil servants are anything and everything. And I'm glad that Patty put me in the human resources category, because I touch all of these different jobs, okay? As the public affairs officer for my organization, I personally do things like write press releases. I talk to the media. I said I was going to the Olympics, right? And I'm going to the Olympics to take photos and videos of our special agents and our engineers protecting the athletes. All right, so I'll get to meet some of these great athletes. I'll get to go to some of the events, and that's all for my job. So I hope you guys are getting, if you want to travel the world and you want to travel it paid for by somebody else, DS is for you, okay? So here are some of the jobs in the civil servant arena. I know that I'm speaking to mostly junior high and high schoolers. Number one, get your high school diploma, okay? Get your high school diploma. Most of these positions are going to ask for also a 4-year college degree, but not all of them. For instance, my boss has been at State Department for 30 years. And she started working at the State Department when she was 18 years old. It was just a temporary job while she was finishing college. And now she's the director of public affairs for our whole organization, 50,000 people. So you can see right there, if some of those are of interest to you, again, because I'm rushing through this, I'm happy to answer specific questions in the chat or later about some of these career paths. But I want to go to some of the specific ones that we have open, and some of them, we call them the priority job functions of DSS. So our special agents, all right? Like I said, these guys are federal officers, just like FBI, DHS. Notice that you have to have a 4-year college degree and be willing to travel. We are members of the Foreign Service. That means you spend at least half of your career traveling all over the place. I am a civil servant, like I said, and I don't travel and live abroad. I just travel abroad. So I've been with DS for about 5 years, and I've traveled to 15 different countries so far. Places you've probably never heard of: Senegal, Sierra Leone, that's in Africa, Taiwan, just various other places. So anyway, you can just check this out here. A little bit more about what our special agents do. Like I said, I know that I don't have too much time, so I won't go into the specifics, but for instance, a lot of our agents are passionate about stopping human trafficking, stopping drug smuggling. And that's what we do. We investigate those crimes and we put the bad guys away. All right. So we protect very high level dignitaries, Secretary of State, like I said, the athletes, and then you can just see a variety of other things that we do. So a second job that I want to touch on are security engineering officers. And these are our techie guys, right? You must have a STEM related four-year college degree to apply to be a security engineering officer. And that's science, technology, engineering, and math. And I do believe we have a speaker coming up, right, that will touch on that a little more. These guys, what they do is they counter terrorists and criminals that want to either penetrate our cyber networks or try to break into our embassies. And these guys have gadgets that you wouldn't believe. It's amazing. They're the ones, if you watch any kind of spy movies, the Cold War era, they're the ones that find the bugs that are hidden in embassy walls. And they're the ones that set up the antennas and the radars and all of the stuff that you need to protect diplomats and also protect us from bad guys that are trying to get in. So these guys are fantastic. I work with them, like I said, on a daily basis. By the way, you'll see some photos on the side. Most of those I took. So again, if you like photography, if you like graphic design, there's a place for you at the State Department. So here's just a few more things that our guys do. The female engineer, this is in Russia. Our gentleman looking over New York City over here. We have another guy at headquarters here and another one in Maldives. So just these 4 pictures alone are 4 places that you could travel to and live in with your family and your dog if you want to bring your dog. So security technical specialists, they also work with our engineers. And my STSs, as we call them, they are the troubleshooters and the guys that can't sit in their seats. They're the ones that don't want to be at the desk typing paperwork, doing paperwork, right? They are actually out in the field installing cameras, installing vehicles, blowing up buildings and blowing up vehicles to see what kind of countermeasures we need to protect from, for penetrating those vehicles. So you can see some of the things they do. These guys are fantastic. I mean, you can see they're down in drains and they're cracking safes. Really cool guys. Cool thing about this job is there's no college degree required. Okay. You need to have a high school diploma, which I should have put in there. You need a high school diploma or equivalent, and 2 years of technical experience. And that technical experience could be, maybe you worked for a couple of years as an electrician, or maybe you helped install new cables for Verizon or Fios. Maybe you helped, build or construct vehicles. Those are all sorts of things that help with this career path. And again, these guys travel all over the world, right? Protecting diplomacy. So they work with the rest of us as well. Diplomatic couriers. Now, these are the guys that make sure our classified materials remain safe. They travel more than anybody else in the Foreign Service. They are on planes, trains, and automobiles most of their career. I got the opportunity to travel with them to various countries, Mauritania, China, Korea. Pretty cool folks. If you're into logistics, if you like checking off those lists, if you like, well, of course, to travel, if you like to, if you're all about airplanes, actually, these guys know more about airplanes than anybody you've ever met. So again, you do need a college degree. You'll notice for all of these positions, other than the security engineers, I just say 4-year degree, because I have people working that have degrees. I have a history degree. I have people that have political science. I have people with teaching degrees, music, astronomy, business, international relations. So it's across the board, because we are looking for the skill sets and interests that make us a diverse and inclusive organization. And we need people with all those different skills. we talk a little, I know folks have talked about education and going back and lifelong. Get through high school. All right, get through high school. Most of these are college. Maybe you'll go right away. Maybe you'll come back to it. But we do hope, again, that you find these kinds of jobs interesting enough to get through those 4 years. If not, like I said, we've got our STSs. But again, there's a place for you at the U.S. Department of State if you're interested in and ready to travel. So I'm going to leave my information up here. I can't see if there's any questions or anything. Oh, go ahead,
Angela. The one question was, are all or most of these jobs careers in DC?
Good question. So I'm in DC. We have 33 field offices across the United States. Within the Foreign Service, it's very similar to Secret Service or FBI, where you do travel to different posts. So we have a field office in Seattle, and you might be there for 2 or 3 years, and then you have to what we call bid on another post, and then in 2 or 3 years you might be, in Brazil. So most of our posts are overseas, but we do have plenty of places around the U.S. as well.
All right. Angela,
All right, that's all I have.
I should have put every pathway under you.
I know, there's so many places at State Department as well that I didn't talk about. We have our medical folks, we have our econ officers. Again, happy to answer any of those questions in the chat or shoot me an email, whatever. But I'm just really happy to share with you folks. I hope you do reach out. And if you visit DC, please email me. I've got some great ideas for you to visit, and I can probably get you some pretty good tours.
That's amazing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for sharing all of that. And if you do need a companion to help with those pictures in Japan, I'm game.
I told everybody I'm going to get like a triple room, right? So there's a couple extra beds so people can visit.
No, that was awesome. Thank you so much. And and for those of you that have joined us, we will definitely be sharing these PowerPoints with you, so you have this information as well. So afterwards, so just so you know that was great, Angela. Thank you. All right, so we are now moving to our skilled and technical sciences pathway, and we have Alex Sosi with us today. Hopefully, Alex, are you? Yep, there's Alex. And Alex, are you with us?
Yes.
Oh, perfect.
I think I want to work for DS too, so I can travel.
I was like blown away. I was sitting here texting the other career specialist. This is really cool.
Yeah. So I think I'm making my reservation now to get to DC.
Oh, that's awesome. And so, Alex, before you begin, so Lynette, are you still with us to play the links? So Alex, do you want to say something before I pull up those?
Yeah, maybe I can just introduce myself. Yeah, to tapai bashichindo tachini bash dashje ado kiane dashe my diskizne dashnal. I'm a member of the Navajo Nation, born for the Water Edge clan. And my dad's side of the clan is the Red running into the Water clan. And my grandpas on my mom's side are the Kiaanis, Taran House people. And then my maternal grandfather's clan is the Maidishkizni, which is the Coyote Pass people. So that's how I am as a Diné person. So while Lynette is pulling that up, I'm with Boeing. And my office was in Renton, but most of my office has been at home due to the pandemic. And so I've been with Boeing 7 years. And I'm currently a senior occupational health and EHS specialist. And also currently I am the Boeing Enterprise Boeing Native American Network president. So that's part of my other job besides my full-time job. Yeah, if you would play those videos, that'd be great.
Awesome. Is it showing right now?
No, so you probably have to minimize this Word document and then pull up the actual link.
How about I do screen one?
I wanted to share these two videos. They're both fairly short, but just kind of overview of what Boeing does, and then also some different people that work in different trades in our manufacturing, kind of give you guys an idea of what some of the job skills is required to work in some of our planes. Go ahead.
I'm so
Okay,
sorry.
well, and what we can do, Alex, is if it's all right with you, we can definitely send these links for them to see after the presentation. We can even put them in the chat.
Yes. I can
Sure.
absolutely do
These
those right
are
now.
open for public to use too. So that's the reason why I'm showing these videos, because I'm not a recruiter for Boeing. And so that is more than welcome if you would like to share these video links.
Fantastic. I'm posting them in the chat right now. I'm so sorry. I don't know why it worked earlier.
Okay, so basically, like what I mentioned earlier, I'm in Boeing and I currently work from home. Um, just a little bit of background from where I come from. I'm originally from the Navajo Nation, state of Arizona, where it meets New Mexico on the north and eastern part of the reservation in Arizona. And so growing up, I'm sure you students have been, for that matter, everybody on the call, were probably at one time was asked, so what do you want to do when you grow up? And so I remember being asked that question, maybe like second or third grade, maybe first grade. And I remember my answer was, I want to be an engineer and also, or doctor. But at the time, I remember as an engineer being the guy that runs the train. And so I wanted to be that person. And so as I go through school and come to realize that engineering is a real broad field. And so many opportunities available with different types of careers within engineering itself. And so my background really is an engineer, the BS in mechanical engineering, and been with, I guess, engineering has taken me not to Olympics, but also through parts of the US, the different states in my engineering field. I think my biggest highlight I would have to share is I was part of the space shuttle program at one time. And I also was part of the space station program when it was barely kicking off back in the 80s. So I had a real good opportunity to actually, to be part of teams that where you can look back and say, I was once part of that. And to this day, I'm back in the aerospace industry. Between my aerospace company that I used to work for right out of college to now, there are different companies I work with, and so it allowed me to see the different perspective and different career paths that is available in engineering. Whether you become a mechanical engineer, whether you become a chemical engineer, aerospace, electrical, and the list goes on. And so it took me all over the U.S. in some of these fields. And so I would like to see all of you students to not just get as far as getting your diploma, because I've heard that many times in today's presentation. Go beyond that. Look beyond that. That obviously, yeah, high school is the first step, but think about the next step. Coming from the reservation, as I said, coming up, being raised without running water, without the power, electricity, that was hard. My parents were not uneducated until I got into my teens. We were able to get power, and so through the struggles my parents were poor, and they knew that education was what we needed as the kids. And so I was the first one that was able to graduate from college and let alone an engineering degree. And it wasn't easy. Some gal mentioned earlier that her GPA is like 1.9. I remember my first college year, my GPA was like 1.5 or 1.6. And I went to a private college the first year because I wanted to get away from home. I wanted to get away from the reservation. And I went attending a private college because the school was small enough where I could play basketball because that's what I like to do and run cross country. But rather than doing my studies, your core, prerequisite courses that I should be doing homework or attending classes. I was being a jock, always being a gym rat. And so that's how I fell behind, and I ended up with a GPA of 1.5 or 1.6. And little did I know, I get a letter in the mail in the second semester that I was being put on probation. So that was a rude awakening for me. Like, wow, what am I supposed to do? And then I needed to get away from there. That was my first year in college, was a place called Winfield, Kansas, a small little bitty town in Kansas where nothing was, there's not one big hill, that's about it. And then you see a tornado coming miles away. So I had to leave. And so I ended up going to Northern Arizona University, where I eventually started as a civil engineer, and then eventually changed my degree to mechanical. And so that's how it got me to where I'm at to this day. And along the way, again, things may change along your path. I always tell people, do something that you like to do, that you like enjoying doing it. Don't do what people are telling you to do. And so with this new position I have, I guess you could call it safety engineer, where I work with employees day in, day out in regulatory compliance or Boeing policies and procedures, where people are supposed to be abiding by, playing by those rules. And so I really enjoy that, and the interaction that I get to do with the employees across the Puget Sound. I have customers from the Everett site all the way down to the Frederickson site. So I travel in between. Um, I used to do that quite often when we used to be at the buildings, but now it's more less of a phone call, or if I really need to go to the site, I would. But the struggles will be there. I guarantee you that. We have a saying in our language, Navajo, "Aho jitel." Aho jitel. It's all up to you. I can talk to you today and tell you that you need to do this, that you need to go be that's just, a message, a supporting message to you kids. Now you have to run with it. You have to make that come into play for yourself. Be that example for your little brothers and sisters, if you have some, or your relatives, your cousins. Make them proud of you. And so that's why, as parents, this is the way we talk to you kids, because there's love involved with that. And that's just the way our teaching has been in Native American communities for many, many, many years. And that's why people acknowledge those people, because we are walking with those teaching to this day. And that's what we try to give back. And I hope you kids continue to do that. And the other thing that I understand, a lot of the kids, STEM could be difficult and challenging. I totally agree. As I mentioned, my GPA was a 1.6 or 1.5 one time, although that wasn't in my engineering program. But um, that's part of life. I mean, life is not easy. You're going to trip. You're going to take a tangent off your main goal that you're doing. There's temptations. We understand that. We've all gone through that. And so with all the support, with your advisors, with your teachers, please lean on them. So much has changed from the day I was growing up versus what you kids are dealing with the social media and so forth. Don't make that as a go-to tool. You need to something to fall back on, which is your schooling, whether it just be your high school, but hopefully it's beyond that, your college. And so, and one of the things we always say is that we want our kids to bring back, what they've learned. Some of us are a little harder to do versus some, but do not forget your identity, where you come from. And that's the main thing that you have to remember when you go away and move away. I try to do my best to stay in touch with my tribe, the Navajo Nation, and try to speak that language, continue to speak that language. And so I hope that you guys stay after your school, study hard, use your advisors, use your teachers. As taxpayers, we pay for those positions. And so I'm glad that you guys are on this call. There's probably other stuff that you guys would rather do, especially now that you guys are doing schoolwork from home. There's always that temptation, right? And so there's a lot of knowledge out there. Lean on your elders. Always tell students, don't forget your elders. They're like a treasure box. They are full of information and knowledge. And so that's really all I wanted to share. And hopefully you guys will have an opportunity to view the video. It kind of just gives you an overview of what Boeing does. We started in 1916 here in the Puget Sound, and we're in like 160 countries, I believe, or 130 countries, and I should say 65 countries, and we are probably around like 150,000, 140,000 employees. And so we have people in the technical field, if you want to go that route, which is your electrical or technicians, your carpenters, your plumbers, or either you take the professional route, which are more like your engineers, your scientists. And so we have different programs that we're involved with. Our biggest one is our commercial, the planes, the different planes that we build. Then we also have the BDS defense side and the space program. And so there are many, many opportunities within Boeing. We are, like I said, we are across the country. We do have kids that come to our site as interns right out of high school, and specifically mostly designed for college students. And so I hope you guys continue with your school, stay after it. If you guys ever have an opportunity to come out to Boeing, or you maybe even approach Patty. Me and Patty had talked earlier this week. I'd like to bring some kids from some of the schools, Native Americans kids, to the Boeing side, give them tours. And because as I started doing that with the Chief Leshai School, Muckleshoot Tribal School, Suquamish, give them the opportunity to see what we do and give them some ideas what they can do. Give them some of that motivation, plant that one seed or two in one of them. Hopefully they'll be in those buildings at one of these days. And so that's the whole intent. And so with that, that's really all I got to share, Patty. And
No, that's perfect. And you're right on, Alex. I know Shelly and Richard at the other two high schools, we would love to have that opportunity to actually bring our students on the Boeing field. So you're not going to be done with us after this event, just so you know. We've already been talking. But no, that is beautiful. And I love what you shared, just pushing past your diploma, to dream and plan, and then sharing your story. It's okay if where you're at right now, or if you do go on to college, like you said, you're at a 1.6 GPA, but look at you today, you made it happen. And that's because, your work ethic, and then, just the community, everybody supporting each other, which is, like I said, the theme I can tell with everyone that's been presenting today. So thank you. That was a great presentation, Alex. We appreciate your time today. And I will make sure that those links get out. It is in the chat, but I'll send it out to our attendees again. I apologize for that technical difficulty there. All right, so next we're going to move on to our science and natural resource pathway, and we do have Fred Dillon with us today. Fred, thank you for being patient, and I know you're multitasking and stepping away from a huge meeting to be with us today. And
okay, I found the mute button. Hey, yes, yes, I am. But thank you. I want to say, introduce myself. My name is Fred Dillon. I'm a Puyallup tribal member. Born and raised around here in Tacoma, Puyallup, around our reservation here. But yeah, definitely, I come from a, background. I guess my background is just being Native, you know what I mean? Being a tribal member here. Fortunately, our reservation here is in the middle of the city. Some of our tribal members and tribes from around, they kind of have a uniqueness that they're kind of protected. They have a reservation. They have stuff a sense of belonging, community, you know what I mean? And not saying that we don't, because we do, but we just have, for us here in the Puyallup Reservation, we have the influences of the big cities, you know, and all the city stuff that comes with it. So, you know, a little bit of background on me is I'm a natural resource policy rep. So to me, that means protecting our natural resources, preserving our natural resources, which is everything, who we are, you know, everything, fishing, hunting, gathering, everything, you know, and that's a responsibility that I take and go with and fight with hard. You know what I mean? I am multitasking today. I got a big co-managers meeting, which is a meeting going on right now with the state representatives and all the 21 tribes of Washington State right now. So I'm, you know, forgive me, my mind is kind of wrapped up in a lot of that stuff there, but you know, to talk about a little bit how I got here. You know, I remember, you know, back when I was 14 years old, we have programs in our tribes, you know, and I guess all around too, is you can start working, you know, summer youth jobs, you know, and one of the first jobs that I was able and fortunate enough to do was to work in our hatchery, you know, where we raise salmon, you know, and so that was my first experiences with that side of things. Cause, you know, growing up with uncles and grandpas and stuff like aunties fishing on our river, you know, we knew the catching part, the harvest part, you know, but for me to get experience and exposure to another side of the process of raising fish, you know, where they come from, how they come to be, and, you know, trying to, you know, do all that good stuff, you know, that was a very good eye opener for me. You know, so that kind of, you know, growing up from there, you know, and doing a lot of that stuff is kind of what got me to be who I am today. You know what I mean? We did a lot of stuff, and that's how I got exposed to it. You know, how I got to be where I'm at today. You know, I was able to, you know, get a job here at our hatchery when I was older and was old enough to work full time and all that good stuff, and was able to, you know, be a hatchery technician. And you know, that entails, you know, just wanting, for me, it was just wanting to do something different, wanting to preserve, you know, what we have. Because I don't know how many of you are too familiar with any of our resources for, you know, salmon right now, but, you know, they're dwindling. You know, we're losing them faster than we're saving them right now. You know, so you know, I got into being a hatchery technician, which was able to help, you know, do something and save them. You know, one of the things that I carry around with me right now is a saying that was by my late cousin, Stephen Dillon, who used to work here as a hatchery manager. He said, you know, one of the first years I was working here, I was spawning fish, you know, and spawning fish is making sure that you know, you fertilize the eggs and all that good stuff and put them in incubators, you know. So we was doing that, you know, the first 3 or 4 years. That third or fourth year came along, and, you know, I was just doing it. I was enjoying it. And my cousin Steve said, you know, hey, you know, Fred, you know, these fish that we're going through, that we're working with right now, these are your babies that you helped create 3-4 years ago. You know, so to me, that meant something. I'm like, holy moly, I see results. I see the return. I see stuff happening. You know, so that just encouraged me even more. You know what I mean? So then I was like, what can I do? What can I do more? How can I start being involved more? And, you know, fortunate things that we have within our tribal community is committees, you know, boards, commissions, you know what I mean? And we have a really strong fish commission that we have. All of our commissions are strong, but, you know, in the field that I'm in, we had a lot of elders that was able to go in there and do the things that I do now. So I had a lot of mentors. I had a lot of leadership, a lot of strong voices that was able to, you know, guide me and, you know, hey, Fred, what do you want to do? You know, and I want to be more involved. You know, I want to know that side of it too.
Okay, so, lady, if we eat that, best believe they eat our asses. 7 in the morning.
Yes, you gotta love the virtual reality world. But yeah, no, you know, I that's how I got more involved in doing this. You know, I got to go sit at the tables, and I joined the fish commission. You know, and then, you know, it went on from there. You know, speaking with a lot of our elders, I was doing it at that time, and, you know, teaching me and showing me and learning that way, you know what I mean? Because, you know, I love education. I appreciate education, you know, all that good stuff. But some of the things that, you know, I've learned, you can't learn in books, you know what I mean? And so, you know, that's just some of the things that I had to balance out, you know what I mean? Like I said, you know, I know we're talking about school, I know we're talking about education, and I encourage every bit of that. But also, you know, I heard the last gentleman that was speaking, don't forget who you are. You know what I mean? So that's, you know, to get back on some of that is, you know, don't forget who you are. Yeah, educate yourself, know what you need to know, you know, with the fields that you're getting into, you know. But like I said, I was fortunate enough to be taught by, you know, elders and pass down traditions and knowledge and wisdom of the things I do. So, you know, there's, like I said, there's many resources that we have, you know, that we participate in, that we protect, that we preserve within our tribal community. And you know, fishing was one of them, shellfish is another one, you know, and hunting, gathering, you know, all that stuff, it all compiles into, you know, who we are and what we do. So yeah, that's just how I kind of got involved in doing something that we do what I do. You know, I heard the gentleman before say, you know, no matter what you do in life, make sure you love it, you know, because you're going to be able to do it a whole lot more if you love what you do. You know, if it's a job, it's just something, you know, 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, you know, whatever, you don't enjoy it, you know, that's, you know, that's, you're not going to give as all you can if you do something that you love. So, you know, just speaking from a native, you know, from my indigenous self, you know, whatever we can give back to our youth, whatever we can give back to our elders, whatever we can give back to the future, you know, that's kind of like where I am. So, you know, the kids out there, you guys are listening, you know, just, you know, if you guys do what, you know, science, all the biology, everything to get into learning about, you know, the environment, you know what I mean? There's all kinds of things out there that you guys can do, you know, but just never forget who you are, where you come from, you know, talk to your elders, talk to your parents, you know, and you know, from a little res boy like me to sit where I am today, you know, that's an accomplishment, you know what I mean? So don't give up, you know, always believe in yourself, knowing, you know, don't let no one tell you no, you can't do it. If it's something that you want to do, you love, you know, and it's something good, then, you know, there's no one that can tell you you can't do it. So
That's a beautiful, beautiful story, friend. I really appreciate that because, like you said, some things can't be learned, you know, from the books. And we did talk a little bit about going on to post high, but at the same time, we want to hit, you know, every post high opportunity, not just university, you know, apprenticeships, internships, what have you. And what you're talking about, you know, like, you know, preserving your land and seeing the return on that, which is a beautiful thing, what you've seen, you know, with the work you've done with the hatchery. And we do stuff like that, you know, with our science classes through Career Tech Ed. So students can learn some of those skill sets prior to going right into the employment. So that is wonderful. I really appreciate you sharing that. That's a great story.
thank you. Thank you.
Yes. And thank you for taking the time because I know you were double booked like crazy today.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. Yes, I am. So, you know, I hope I was able to, you know, give the kids something to, you know, think about, chew on, and, you know, hey, I think Patty and some of the teachers and staff on here do have our contact information. So, you know, anybody
Yes.
feel free to reach out and keep reaching out. We look forward to trying to help in any way we can.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you again, Fred. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes. And then
Awesome. Thank you.
yes.